What's up, guys? Back with some more Brute content. I just got done watching JP's Mud Nationals video, and it's got me pretty fired up to do some riding. But before we can do that, we finally have the #1 mod that I've been looking forward to doing since we bought the Brute. So this being a V-twin engine, it has a ton of glorious noises all bottled up in that factory exhaust. So finally pulled the trigger on a full system. We got the 2 header pipes and then the loudest muffler that HMF offers, which I think it looks absolutely glorious. I had a HMF pipe on my Honda Rincon, which obviously it still sounded like a Honda, but it freaking sounded good. Not nearly as good as this thing's gonna sound, but to pair with that, we went with the HMF Optimizer, which is a tune, because from the factory, the Brutes come pretty freaking lean, and then even when you just remove the silencer from the factory exhaust, it's got it borderline like not necessarily that safe to run. So we're gonna have to fatten the tune up with that optimizer after we install this full system, and then this thing should sound absolutely glorious and run even better. So let's go ahead and get one final start up with the factory exhaust, back this thing in, and get the rear portion torn apart. We also got some more stuff in the kit, some gaskets, some clamps, some hardware, the mid pipe that your O2 sensor is gonna have to swap over to, and then some instructions right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, remove the rear portion, rack, fenders, seat. Probably gonna have to remove the side panels as well. I'm hoping not, hopefully we can get in there. I think the toughest spot is probably gonna be on this front side, so maybe we can just pop the tire off and get in there to the old front header. So it's nothing more than just taking all the bolts apart and lifting everything out of the way. So I'm not going to show you all that, but I will catch up with y'all after I get done. Now, truthfully, you probably don't have to take the rear fenders and everything off. You could probably get away with just doing the side panel, but it's so easy to take the back plastics and everything off. There's really no reason not to, and it's definitely going to help me with filming and stuff. So went ahead, snatched all that stuff off, just a bunch of screws and bolts and everything like that. Just put them in order. Make sure you don't lose any. But I went ahead and popped off this shield right here as well. We're gonna start by taking our O2 sensor off, and then we're just gonna work our way through here and unbolt the old exhaust and throw the new one on. It's gonna be a 17 mil for your O2 sensor. And I went ahead and unplugged it up here. That way we don't twist it up in a knot. And we'll be putting some new dielectric grease up in there. If you haven't done that yet, please, for the love of everything, just do it. Cram them babies full of it. It's literally what it's made for, and it will weatherproof or waterproof your four-wheeler. Out she comes. Still can't remove it because there's that big thing on it, but we'll sit it up out of the way. Now we got 2 12 mils. Go ahead and break this front header free, and then we'll remove the lower portion from the engine. These are going to be 12 mil. Finally. All right, now we should be able to slide this thing back. Actually, we got to take these 2 bolts off because I think the new muffler mounts a little bit different. So this is going to be a 9/16. And out she comes. And then same deal up here on your front cylinder. You got 2 12 mil nuts. Now we should just be able to slide this thing forward and somehow finagle it out of here. Oh yeah, there she is. Now I'm gonna go in here and clean up our surface, because obviously our factory gaskets do their job, but it is extremely dirty all around. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a razor blade and a rag, get those cleaned up, and then I'll catch up with y'all for the front header pipe. All right, let's go ahead and slip our new pipe in, which it goes a different direction than the factory pipe. It actually loops all the way around the frame and the radiator. So let's just try to lightly put it into place. I also took the front wheel off. That way I can get in here to clean it good. Do not need to put that on without the gasket. Slide that guy up on the head. Slide your pipe on. Just like that. Make sure you got it angled correctly, because that ain't it. Go inside there. There we go. Take our factory hardware and just snug it up. We're not tightening it yet. Now we're going to slip our gasket on the rear cylinder, which I believe the flat side goes towards the engine. That would make sense to me. And then we're gonna put our pipe in to where it is angled up. Just like this, and throw your factory nuts back on there. Now we're gonna take our mid pipe, put our clamp over it, and then slip it on our front cylinder pipe. Just like that. And the clamp ready to go right there. Now I went ahead and put our clamps on and sprayed some WD-40 on these pipes. That way they should slide on easier, and then once we run it, it'll just burn off. There they are. Line our holes up, and I'm just gonna stick this guy in there for the moment so I can grab my hardware. Now I'm gonna put the bolt in from the back side. Like that. Put our new washer on, which goes on both sides. And our nut, same deal here, bolt, washer, then through, another washer, and then your nut. Yeah. Dude, holy crap, how freaking nasty does that look? We're also gonna take this little mesh out, because if you know anything about mufflers that have that on it, as soon as you go in the mud, them son of guns cake up. So we'll address that after. For now, we're about ready to start tightening things down. I'm gonna eyeball everything, but I think we're good to go. So I'll see which way we go, from the back to the front or the front to the back. Looks like we're supposed to work our way from the front to the back, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten our front cylinder header bolt down. Got the front header tightened, so now we're gonna go ahead and tighten the rear header. Got the rear header pipe tightened, so now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the mid pipe down to the front header pipe. Jumped ahead a little bit on y'all, so I went ahead and tightened these guys down and then tightened the muffler itself down. So now I'm just gonna throw the oxygen sensor into the new pipe, put our shield back on, and then we'll be ready to tackle the optimizer, because we gotta put that thing on and route it the way that we want it before all the plastics go back on. So here's our optimizer, which is definitely not as long as I was hoping it was going to be, but this is gonna go into our injector harness, and then we have one ground wire to install, which we got a big warning thing. It says to make sure to attach the black ground wire first before installing injector connectors. And then the backside says, do not apply dielectric grease inside the injector connectors. This will void your warranty. Well, what good does it do me to have this on a four-wheeler that goes in the water if I can't waterproof it? So I guess we're catch-22 there. I'd rather void the warranty on this than the four-wheeler, you know, die in the middle of a mud hole and blow up. So we're going to be applying the dielectric grease, and hopefully that does not give us any issues with this. I don't know why it would, but apparently somebody goofed up, or maybe they know that it just isn't going to work. I don't know. We're going to apply something. We have to. You have to. We're going freaking submarine in this thing. So I'm going to figure out how to route this thing, and then I'll show you all exactly what I did. Also, there's just absolutely no way to reinstall the heat shield that was right here, because it doesn't line up even remotely close. And I know there's not enough room to like move this pipe back, because it'd have to move back like a full 2 inches, inch and a half at least, for this hole to line up with that shield. So I guess we're leaving that off. Now I gotta go ahead and remove this other side panel to get access to our injector connector. And then I'm gonna figure out exactly how I wanna run this thing. Would highly recommend you install this before doing a snorkel on your four-wheeler, because once you install this pipe and you ultra black everything like I did where you can't take it apart, it's a royal pain in the butt to get to that injector harness, which is the front one, which I'll try to show y'all right down there. It's not that upper one, it's the front one. And it's on a bracket, so I stuck a flathead screwdriver through here, pushed the pin in, and flicked the connector open, and then was able to, for like, I don't know, the last 20 minutes or more, fight through here with my hands in order to plug in both connectors on the new optimizer. Now, before you do that, there is a ground wire right here under your shifter. It's a 10 mil, so go ahead, take that off, plug in, or put your ground wire behind that, and then screw it back in. It says to do that first, so I did that, and then I finally got those. Now, a lot of people, and it's like recommended in the instructions, to put your programmer right here. I don't know how watertight this son of a gun is gonna be, so I'm gonna try to mount it up here behind our little cowl, right in by the snorkels, because you know, when we go pretty deep, you're usually doing a water wheelie and stuff. At, you know, best case scenario, you're not completely submerged unless you're a Honda boy. So you can do a water wheelie, and we typically keep this portion out of the water. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to mount it up there, and I guess I'll show y'all how I ended up doing it after. Well, I got her all back together, really hoping this thing cranks and there's no issue, because if I have to take it all back apart, I am definitely going to cry. Now, I still haven't taken the core out, which I don't know if it's just that like mesh or if there is actually a core in there. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna pop that out. And then this is where I ended up putting the optimizer. I figured up here high out of the way would be great. I mean, we can technically pull it down and look if we ever want to change it or something, behind our little top piece for our cluster. So yeah, I think we're ready to freaking start this thing, minus me swapping out that or taking out the little mesh piece. So I'm gonna take that out and then I'll catch up with y'all for our first startup, which is hopefully gonna be successful. All right, moment of truth. Will she crank? Smells just like it did on my Honda Rincon when I put it on there. Like a weird little barbecue smell. My daggone muffler on that one didn't smoke like this, so that's pretty crazy. I haven't looked back over the footage, but I am betting it sounds absolutely disgusting. Now, I was wanting to go take this thing out to the swamp today and, you know, cover our brand new muffler, but we're running out of time and I can't freaking find my mic to go in my helmet, and so it wouldn't really be worth doing anyway. So yeah, I really want to go take it in the freaking mud, but I ain't gonna have time to clean it or anything, and I ain't gonna let it sit covered. So I guess that's gonna have to wait for the following video, unfortunately. I know, such a letdown, but it is what it is, I guess. As far as the back went, you just take these 4 bolts out, which one of mine was loose, and then you get a little tiny flathead in there and you pop it free. Why is it, gosh, dog, that is smoking a lot more than I expected. But yeah, you pop that free, the little screen will come out, and you just put it back in there, and it's got an O-ring on the inside. Just make sure you get that line back up. But yeah, there she is. Not too complicated, just time consuming as always. And you can just barely see our guy right there. Got her zip tied down. That should be the safest place, I feel. Don't think there's any reason why we would want it underneath the seat when that's definitely gonna get, you know, underwater. Might as well have it up here. But yeah, there she is. Full exhaust on the old brute, sounding downright disgusting. Smoking like crazy. We got a daggone fire going on in there. I don't know, but dang, I want to take this thing to the swamp. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I ain't got time. I ain't got freaking time. That's gonna have to be saved for the following video. We'll properly break her in then. So hopefully y'all enjoyed. Drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, ring that bell notification, and I will see y'all boys in the next video.